Me 24F, with my boyfriend 27M of 2 years, he destroyed the painting I made for him because it was a cheap gift. Posted by you the painter. My boyfriend John is extremely difficult to buy presents for. He came from an affluent family and has a great job, and buys everything he wants whenever he wants it. I am lower income. I lost my job a few months ago and had to take on other one, which pays less, and I am struggling to pay my part of the rent and pay off my student loans. It is difficult for him to understand this most of the time. I love to paint. My boyfriend has said my paintings are very good and that he likes them a lot. Since my income is so low, I decided to paint my boyfriend a painting for his birthday, Saturday. I researched this for months beforehand. I decided to paint a scene from his favorite game, BioShock, with him as a big daddy character. I know it sounds cheesy, but I honestly thought he would like it because he always said I was talented and he loves this game. I poured a ton of work into it. A week before his birthday, he had been hinting heavily at wanting a new iPhone. When I presented him with the painting, he asked me if this was his present and if I got him something else. I told him this was his present and that I'd worked on it for months special for him. He got upset and told me a bunch of awful things, saying that it's a cheap and lazy gift and that I was cheap in general. I was trying to defuse the situation, and I told him that I was sorry he didn't like it, but I wasn't able to get him iPhone he wanted. He took the painting and he didn't tear it, but he sort of bent and crinkled it, completely ruining the paint. He told me that I obviously didn't care about what he wanted, and that I was bad at budgeting and all of this ranting. It came out that he resented paying for groceries and utilities, even though he'd agreed to this before. I told him that if he wanted to discuss that we could, but this wasn't a good reaction. He told me that I was just after him for money, and that he didn't want a shitty painting, when he could apparently be in a committed relationship with another girl at his workplace who makes more money. Then he told me, "But I love you," as though it was an excuse for what he said. Then he said that this girl had brought him a red velvet cake for his birthday, which is his favorite cake, which I didn't care about. I told him that I baked him a chocolate cake earlier in the week with cream cheese frosting, and that is basically red velvet cake. He switched and said that she had gotten it from his favorite bakery, and some random girl knows which bakery he likes over me. I just went to bed. This morning he's gone, and so is the painting. He sent me a text saying he went out to a birthday brunch with his parents, and he'll be back soon. I'm not sure if I want to end the relationship, which has a ton of commitment involved. He has never acted like this before about money, and I don't know what's up because he's not telling me. I think he might be interested in this other girl, or at least jealous of how much money she makes compared to me. How am I even supposed to approach this? I am already feeling very hurt about the painting, and I'm not sure that's a good place to start another argument. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Are you kidding me? Your boyfriend ruined something that you made for him out of love and called it shitty because it wasn't expensive enough, berates you for your financial situation, and is talking about another girl in front of you. Why is this guy not your ex already? Please don't say he's a good guy because good guys don't do shit like this. Op response. He's definitely not the best guy. What I would say is he says a lot of things in anger, but I am definitely considering breaking up with him. Because of my financial situation and the lease, this would be very difficult, however, so I'm wondering if there's any way this could be worked out. Op mentions something else that happened in the past. Wait until I tell you about the muffin incident. He thought I was making blueberry muffins and threw one across the room when he realized they were cranberry. And the Thanksgiving debacle. He told me grandmother he thought she was dead already. Update next day. I have an update. When John didn't return after a couple of hours and I read your comments, I got a little pissy and invited over a couple of girlfriends for drinks and complaining. I did a lot of complaining, and they basically said what you said. John did not return home after his Easter brunch, so I ate a tray of lemon bars. When I got home from work today, he had the painting and he'd put it in a cheap dollar store frame. It was wrinkled, flaked, and ruined beyond repair. He told me that he was sorry that he got so upset and that he was just expecting a different gift. I asked him where he was, and he said he stayed with his parents for the night and borrowed work clothes from his dad. Yeah, right. I directly asked him why he was so upset when I gave him a painting that I worked so hard on. He said that he pays for everything and gets rightfully upset when I don't use all of my extra cash to be thoughtful. I pay for half of the rent on this expensive apartment, all of my student loans. I have no extra cash. He buys the most expensive part of the groceries, like a pound of pine nuts a week, and expensive gelato always in the freezer, and cranks up the air conditioner and heat and leaves the lights on. We would have countless arguments, since I would be paying half of a huge bill that I contributed 10% of. He started paying for utilities and groceries at his insistence after it started to take a toll on our relationship. I told him that if he was so upset, we could split the utilities evenly again. But I was mad that he took out his temper on me and destroyed all of my hard work. He starts saying things like, "You never loved me, you knew I was a prize pig," etc. Our degrees are the same, that is how we met, but his dad hired him right out of school, and I was left to find work for myself. I don't resent him for this, but I wasn't even aware of his economic status while we were initially dating, and by the time I learned, I was already invested in the relationship. Trust me when I say he's never been this aggressive before in our entire relationship, so I knew something was up. I was super pissed, and I outright asked him if he was fucking Red Velvet, his work friend. He said that a while ago they went out for drinks after work with a whole group and ended up kissing afterwards. I asked him if that was all that happened and he said yes. I kept asking him what his problem is, why he has to compare me to other girls, why he tore up the painting, why he is aggressive now when he hasn't been before, etc. I know I was probably being annoying, but I was so mad. He kept repeating the money line, over and over. Finally, he broke down and told me that it wasn't just a kiss. He said that he and Red Velvet had started going on little dates during work hours. They did not have sex, but they are basically in a relationship. He said he was falling for her and felt as though she was better for him and wanted me to break up with him. Part of the painting thing was his resentment towards me financially, and part was him wanting to hurt me enough that I'd break up with him. I guess that the fight about the painting was when it got real for him and he wanted to fix it and break it off with Red Velvet. He and I had signed a 1-year lease and we still have 3 months left. But I told him to get out of the apartment and that we were breaking up, and he did leave with some clothes. I'm not sure if he's coming back. Maybe he's staying with Red Velvet. I don't care, not anymore.